Happy Halloween, my fellow YouTubers. Today we are going to review the 1989 sci-fi thriller Deepstar Six, directed by Friday the 13th Son H. Cunningham, or whatever his name is. The film centers around a crew aboard an underwater military base called Deepstar Six, doing their basic routine for the first half of the film. But the crew inadvertently awoke a hostile sea monster from its slumber or something like that, and it attacks the base, causing severe damage to the base. Now the crew has to find a way to kill the monster and also try to find a way out of the base. As you can get by, the film's plot is very simple, but it works to its advantage. The first half of the film starts off as an underwater disaster film, something like The Poseidon Adventure or Earthquake, where the characters are trapped in a situation and are trying to get out. While the second half of the film is a quick-paced creature feature, where the characters have to fight a horrifying creature to escape. Now let's talk about the characters. The characters themselves are pretty standard genre characters. For example, there's the asshole that everyone hates, but thank God he dies sooner or later. And there's the love interest and the couple, all that kind of stuff. But for this film's credit, they're pretty likable. The underwater effects have their strengths and their weaknesses. For example, when a submarine is moving through the water, it looks pretty good. Well, with scenes with the sea cap falling over a cliff, it looks pretty cheap. Okay, now let's talk about the good stuff. The best thing in this movie is the monster. Not saying it's an interesting creature, nor is it sympathetic, but my god, look at the design of this thing! I don't know who designed this thing, but I tip my hat to you, good sir, or sirs in some cases, because this thing looks awesome. When I first saw this movie on the Sci-Fi Channel back in 2005, the one thing I remember about this movie is the monster. And to this day, I never forgot about it since. I also like how the crew of Deepstar Six lives their normal lives underwater. For example, there's a scene where they sent an underwater camera, or ROV, into a cave, but then they lost contact with it. In a normal horror film, the people would react like, "This isn't normal," or "Something's wrong." But here, it's a normal occurrence, and they act like it's happened before, and it's actually pretty hilarious when you come to think of it. There's another scene where the captain goes to rescue the crew of the Seaga by using some sort of tube chamber thing that connects the two subs. I'd say that's kind of cool. In conclusion, Deepstar Six is a decent sci-fi thriller with some creativity, standard but likable characters, hit and miss underwater sequences, and an awesome monster. Even though this came out the exact same year as other underwater sci-fi thrillers, such as Leviathan and The Abyss, which I could admit those are possibly better films to watch, but I'll talk about those films some other time. If you're a sci-fi horror fan, this is up your alley, but if you haven't seen or heard this movie before, it wouldn't hurt to watch it. This is PMB Reviews. Ha 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 ha!